Yes, peeps. What's happening? Hope everyone's well. Welcome to another episode of From the Finished Article, and we're covering Fergie time today. What's happening, peeps? It's a beautiful day, and I got my boy Shaz on. How's it going, bro? You good?
Yes, bro. All good, all good. Watched the game earlier, United and Leeds. I was watching highlights of the UFC fight, Usman versus Masvidal as well.
What a game!
But yeah, as you said, today is all about Fergie time on this video. We'll be talking about the recap of Leeds United versus Man United at Elland Road. Um, Before we do, I'll let Shaz um, I'll let Shaz have his words.
No, that's fine. You know what? If anyone watched the Masvidal fight, which was a heavy knockout, this game was anything but. I that's all I can say. I mean, guys, before we kick off, please leave a like, subscribe, and comment below. As always, without your support, we wouldn't be where we are today. And as always, your support and comments. Please do let us know what you think, or if there's anything you want us to cover going forward. We greatly appreciate it. But yes, Shaz, let's kick off. So I'm going to bring it up with a simple tagline of uneventful performance from Man United. For me, I think just overall, United were going through the motions. They had their head more set towards the Roma game on Thursday, which, whilst it was vital, I think it didn't really inspire much confidence in today's game. It's more like a training exercise. So
Yeah,
United had a couple of chances, but really they just went at the races.
Yeah, as you said, it was very uneventful. They started with Pogba on the bench and Cavani started with Daniel James for some reason. I'm not too sure. McTominay and Fred had a good game. They were playing pretty well in the holding midfield positions. Um, but Leeds were man marking most of our players, and United didn't know how to deal with it. They couldn't get past the defensive line. And when I say defensive line, I don't just mean the four defenders that they had. I mean near enough the whole Leeds team was defending at most of the time. It was like every man behind the ball. And then when they got the ball, they just hit the gas pedal and went forward on the counter, which is something that you mostly see from United, hitting people on the counter. And when United were trying it in this game, they were getting stopped. They were getting stopped in the midfield area by the Leeds players. Going on to Leeds were playing quite dirty. The amount of fouls that they committed was just crazy. To only have maybe 3 or 4 yellow cards to the Leeds team, but the amount of fouls that they committed was just mad. I thought me enough the whole team should have been on a yellow card. There should have been a couple of reds as well to them.
I'm just going to jump in, Chair. So you brought up a valid point. So to go back to the team selection, so as Shaz rightly pointed out, Daniel James started. So what Ollie's thinking is that he wanted to go with the same lineup that he started with when Leeds United turned up at Old Trafford. Now, the only difference between that performance and this performance is Leeds United didn't really come out all guns blazing. I think through experience, they've learned to try and be a bit more conservative. Because they know
they started off on the back foot at
they
home as well.
On the back foot, which was a surprise. But I think, given the nature of the season, I think they wanted to try and get something out of the game. I mean, from Man United's perspective, United had some good chances. Rashford had a couple of chances. Greenwood had a couple. But I just think that the guys weren't clinical today. They were just a bit off the pace.
The main chance I think we had was the Harry Maguire header. He got a free header from a corner, and I don't know, he just didn't get it on target. If that was on target, it was either in the back of the net or the goalkeeper would have either had to push it out and someone would have hit a rebounding. So
and Daniel James had a chance as well. Daniel James had a chance with Aloiski of Leeds prevented. But I think just, you know what, it was just a bit slow paced, and this is one of the criticisms we've had of Man United this season.
The build-up was too slow. You bang on. The build-up play for United was very slow. They were getting some good passes in, some slick back heels, some slick movement, but all in all, it was a lackluster performance from United. They didn't perform the way that I was expecting them to do. I mean, you beat this team 6-2 at Old Trafford, and United didn't come with the confidence that they should have had, knowing that they've beaten this team so heavily before. But that's not taking away the credit from Leeds. Leeds played really well defensively. They stopped United a lot. They stopped the chances. They stopped United creating the final touch. They stopped United's players getting that final pass in to get the goal. And I think very, very defensively they played well. So hats off to Leeds. They did brilliantly to stop United scoring a goal and keep this as a draw.
I think it was a battle of two defenses today. So Man United also countered and prevented Leeds from having a lot of the counter-attacking opportunities they normally have, which is good. But I think we just lacked that bit of spark today from Man United's perspective. But
definitely.
You know what? Considering we're second and Man United is second in the league, and given their run-in, so I'm going to touch upon this now. We might as well go into it. So what's next for Man United?
What's next for Man United?
On Thursday, Man United play in the first leg of the Europa League semi-final against Roma at Old Trafford.
Big game.
Big game. I think that's a cup competition that Ollie needs to win to get over there.
I'll be honest with you, Shaz, here, before we carry on. Solskjaer knows at this point United are going to finish top four. So the other results in the Premier League do matter. Obviously, finishing second is the priority. We can't drop down to third or fourth. We can't afford that. We need to finish second. And Solskjaer needs to know that we need to finish second. He can't think, right, we're going to finish in the top four. It doesn't matter where we finish in the top four as long as we get Champions League football. No, it does matter. We need to finish second. Secondly, Europa League, yes, we're still in the competition. It's a semi-final, and we need to obviously at least win something this season to call it a successful season at Man United. I won't go with we finished second in the league. We got through to the semi-finals of the Europa League, and it's a successful season. No, it's not. We're Manchester United. We need to be winning trophies to have a successful season. And there you go. Shaz has just brought up the league there. We're 10 points behind Man City. Look at that, 10 points behind. That's crazy. Yes, we're 8 points clear of Leicester, even after that performance against Leeds. But Leicester do have a game in hand, which obviously won't make up that much of a difference. But I think we are comfortable in second. I mean, look at the form: win, 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 win. That's not taking into account the draw we've just had against Leeds. The points I think show for the draw, but the form hasn't been updated with that draw.
Correct.
But saying that, if you look at Leeds, ninth in the table, above Arsenal. What are your thoughts on that, Chaz? What are your thoughts on where Leeds are right now?
I think the first season back since I think in 16 years, I did think they've done fantastically well. They've had some amazing results recently. So they've beaten the likes of Manchester City. They've drawn with Liverpool. Obviously, they've had a draw today against Man United, and I think they're not a side to be taken lightly. They're always going to be a threat because they're one of the teams that actually know and want to play a game of football. But I just brought the table to highlight a couple of things. So Man United currently being second. I think to answer your point that you just raised, Shaz, I don't think Ollie's going to take this football again and give up second. What I think he realizes that there are certain games, and this is for his own experience, there are certain games where he's got to learn to be able to find a way to nick a goal. I think today we could have nicked a goal. Dan James had that chance, but you know what? Sometimes you've just got to have that ruthless killer instinct. And this is where, like you said, we talked about before the game, I mean, before we came live, this is where Cavani would have been a good example of somebody who needed to put the game to bed.
You're right. Like I said before the game, bro, Solskjaer, yes, he rested Pogba and he rested Cavani because we're playing Roma on Thursday. But he brought him on anyway. He gave him about 20, 30 minutes. So why not start with the strongest team possible with Pogba and Cavani in the team? Get the goals, get the game done and dusted by half time. Take them off at half time, and then save them for the next game. Why not do it that way? Why waste 70 minutes with no goal, then put them on with 20 minutes to go. It's not enough time for players to do what they need to do.
No, absolutely.
Solskjaer,
I
in
agree with
making
you.
decisions, Solskjaer, yes, he brings on the right substitutes. I'm not going to argue with that, but he brings them on at the wrong time. He brings them on too late. He doesn't give him enough time. I mean, he brought
I
Van
mean,
der Beek on with 10, 15 minutes to go. That's
exactly.
not enough time for a player to get into the game. He should have brought these subs on with maybe Pogba on at half time, put
I,
Cavani
I,
on
I,
with 30 minutes, and Van der Beek.
I would have even started with Van der Beek because the problem is you're not going to play him any other time, so you might as well play him. If you're going to
Yeah,
do
why start with Daniel James? I mean, don't get me wrong, Daniel James is a good up and coming player, a good potential in him,
more
but
a squad there than
he
anything else.
lacks the killer instinct in front of goal. He
Yeah,
can't convert his chances, and it showed when he had his chances. He was he wasn't pulling the trigger early enough, and that's why he was getting the ball taken off him by the Leeds defense. If he was more clinical, if he knew, right, the ball's coming to me, I'm going to shoot straight away, bang, back of the net. He would have scored a goal. United could have won that game just based on the chances he had and if he converted them. Never mind the other players converting theirs.
no, that's true. I mean, moving on from that, Man United then also play Liverpool next Saturday. So
Yes, yes,
this week's going to
big
be huge.
game.
You know what? I think next weekend's game against Liverpool, I think we'll be more focused on the protest because from what I've heard, the Liverpool
There is
fans
a
are
protest, yeah.
not.
Everyone's participating in the social media boycott.
Yes,
All teams, all leagues, I believe, are participating in a boycott of posting anything on social media over the
unfortunately,
weekend,
yeah,
next Saturday and Sunday. So you won't get any social media posts from football clubs, the leagues, and I think the players are actually participating in it.
yeah,
And this protest is against the racism in football, which is a
yeah.
great stand to have. Everyone standing together against football, against the racism, sorry, in football. And I think it's brilliant to see.
I got to add one thing on that. So I'm going to touch upon this in my next next subject for this. So during the game, the Glazers out banner flies over Elland Road. Now, as myself and Chaz have covered in multiple videos prior to today, there was the whole epic failed European Super League, which fell on its face quicker than Beyonce could get to the stage. Let's leave it at that. But you know what, Shaz, I got to bring over, the protests, whilst they're good, why the hell are people not jumping up with the same ferocity when people are getting racially abused? You're talking about joining a
You're
rebel
right.
league where when
You're
someone's
bang
getting
on.
racially abused, you're like, okay, what's
No. You've made a
rebel?
really good point there, Shaz. So I'm gonna carry on with that point.
Yeah,
Why are people more concerned about a new league being formed than the racism in football? That's beyond me. I'm more concerned about the racism in football than this new European Super League. Yes, the Super League was announced. It's dead and buried. It is not going to happen. The teams have all pulled out. Let's move on from there. Yes, let's continue this campaign of glaciers out because we do want them out. But we need to focus on this issue with racism in football. It's not acceptable to have any form of racism, not just in football though. In any sport, in any form of life. And I'm gonna mention something which I probably shouldn't really go too much into on this video. We'll probably bring it back in another video. But being of the background that we are, we've suffered racism, so we know what it's like. Whether it's online, whether it's in person, any form of racism, I'm used to it, and that's I'm used to being called whatever names I've been called in the past, online, offline, whatever, and that's sad to say that I'm used to it now. But does it still
Shaz,
bother me? Yes, it does still bother me that people are racist.
this is
Because
what
in the day
I'm
and
gonna.
age that we're in, it shouldn't be something
You're
people
right. You're
think
right.
about.
The problem is the way I see this, and to anybody watching, we're not going to make this political, but what you got to understand is people that can sit behind a keyboard type abuse.
Keyboard
Okay,
warriors, bro. Keyboard
guys,
warriors.
what we're saying is we're all fans. We get frustrated. We get pissed off that our team loses or whatever it is. But attack the performance. But if you go attack a man because of his color of his skin, that is unacceptable. And if you can sit behind a keyboard and racially abuse somebody, you've got no guts at all. I mean, you
Nah,
wouldn't.
if you can
I
sit behind the keyboard and racially
guarantee you
abuse
wouldn't
someone, you're a
say that.
scumbag.
Yeah, you would not say that to that person's face because you know you'd have to deal with the repercussions. So stop being chickens. Learn to grow up, and we need to leave this unacceptable. I'm going to be honest with you. 4 days, whilst it's a fantastic initiative, is going to change the world. I mean, for us that are like normal human beings, we just think, okay, why do people have to stoop to this level? But I think it's childish behavior, and we won't touch upon it too much. But we just thought we'd bring that out there.
No.
But
we will do another video definitely on the form of racism in football, whether it's whether it's at the stadium or whether it's online after the game. You shouldn't be racially abusing not just the players, but you shouldn't be racially abusing anybody in life. If you feel the need to racially abuse someone for whatever reason, let's say you're racially abusing a footballer because he had a bad performance for your club. You're racially abusing a player who plays for your club. So if you're racially abusing that player who plays for your club because he's had a bad performance, you're not a fan of that club. You're a fan of the white players of that club, but not the black players because you're racially abusing some of them. If you're a fan of a club, you should be supporting your club, through everything, whether they have bad performances, whether they have good performances, whether certain players have bad performances. You shouldn't be racially abusing them. You should be saying, okay, you had a bad performance, let's pick it up, let's go into the next game and let's do better, let's move on. You shouldn't be throwing racial slurs out at people at all. It's disgusting.
You know what? I'm just going to wrap up what Shaz has said and simply sum it up. That is, footballers are human beings as well. So you might think they kick the ball and get paid a lot, but at the end of the day, they're the same like us. Yes, they're a bit more privileged, but just because they are,
just saying on that, Shaz, they don't get paid. Yes, they get paid, millions a year, yeah, but that's still not enough for them to put up with the bullcrap of racism. No amount of money can make you tolerate racism. You could say you could pay me whatever amount to be racist to me, and I would not tolerate. I wouldn't accept it. You could say I'm going to give you 10 million so someone can be racist to me. No, I'm not going to accept you 10 million just so someone can be racist to me. Not a chance at all. Not a chance.
But anyway, guys, look, you know what? Thank you very much for tuning in today. It's been a pleasure to have you on board. Yes, the game wasn't eventful, but you know what? As always, myself and Shaz are here to present more content for you. So before we tune off, please leave a like, subscribe, and comment below. Anything you want us to cover in future videos, please do let us know. But until next time, have a good evening and we'll see you soon.
See you soon, peeps. See you in the next video.